All right, joining me today on Drunken Lullabies presents My Personal Mixtape is a man I'm very excited to have on the show. I've never spoke with him before, but I've been a fan of his music for many, many years. And joining me today to discuss 10 of his favorite songs from his career is Dan Schaefer, a.k.a. Danny Vapid. You may know him from such bands as Screeching Weasel, the Riverdales, the Methadones, and many others. And we're going to discuss a bunch of them today on the show. So, Dan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And, you are, in my opinion, an icon of the Chicago punk rock scene that I grew up listening to. So it's an honor to have you on the show and to get to share your work with our listeners and get a little in-depth with some of these songs and find out why they're so special to you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So your first song that you selected right off the bat from 1995, this is Sludgeworth, and you selected Someday. Now, this was a band that was formed in the late 80s as a side project of Screeching Weasel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a side project for Screeching Weasel. Screeching Weasel then broke up, and then Sludgeworth became full-time.
And this was released in 95 on Lookout as a compilation of sorts of everything that you guys had recorded in the past. Long out of print. You can find it if you know where to look. You said yourself you don't even have a copy of this one, do you?
No, I mean, I might have it somewhere. Like I said, I'm sitting in my basement right now, and I'm looking at some boxes, and there might be a copy of it somewhere down here. I do remember, like, a friend had got me a copy of it maybe about 10 years ago. I was having a barbecue, and he's like, "Hey, I got this for you." It was a pretty funny moment. And I think since then it's also been lost just because I've moved a couple times.
This is a good place to start because again, it's taken it back almost three decades at this point, and this is a band that I was late to the party on. Admittedly, I did not get into your music until the I would say like 97, 98, and then I kind of had to work backwards for most of it. So this was something that I was not aware of until after, the fact. And this is it's you and also your Screeching Weasel bandmate Brian Verman on the drums.
He was in the band at the time as well in Screeching Weasel.
Mm-hmm.
Screeching Weasel breaks up. I start a new band and ask him if he wants to play, and he does. So that's kind of how that happened.
Well, was this your first time being a lead vocalist?
No, actually. The first band I ever played in, it's kind of a weird question because, there was a lot of playing in the garage with friends and having a name and then changing it the next week. And then maybe friends would come over and watch it, and it would be a train wreck. Stuff like that.
Sure.
I had played a show with a band called DSB, and we played like 2 shows. And we played a party one time. I was like maybe 16 years old. And it was super fun, but it wasn't really anything like I had taken seriously yet. And then I was asked to be a singer in a hardcore band called Generation Waste. And so I did. And I played with the band for, I want to say about 2 years. We played a lot of shows. We made a demo, and the demo did really well. We actually had a pretty good following in Chicago. And so that band had started it for me. By the time I hadn't written any songs at that point. They were like guys that, they were like a little older than me, and so like if I had a song idea, they almost thought it was cute, They're like, oh, look at the singer's got a song idea, that kind of thing. But it's kind of funny thinking about it now. But that's what happened. They were a little bit older than I was, and so so they wrote all the songs. They just had me sing it, and I did. And, it went over pretty well, but there was something about the band. Like, I liked hardcore a lot. I still do to this day, but there was something else I was looking for.
Okay.
And so I kind of wanted to take that energy, but I wanted the hook. I wanted more of the hook.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was missing in a lot of punk rock. And I felt like, wow, the Descendants have it. The Ramones have it. And I thought of a bunch of others, like the Buzzcocks. I thought Naked Raygun had it. Like, I want to do something like that. I like that more than hardcore. Getting into that more and more, that kind of punk rock. And so by the time I was in Screeching Weasel and Sludgeworth, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And so it just kind of transitioned into that.
Yeah, because this is, even more melodic than the early Weasel stuff. And I kind of always loved that. You definitely bring that melody to the bands that you're in, and you have such a good ear for writing hooks and just memorable choruses and catchy as shit verses. And this song right here is a great introduction to what we're going to listen to for the next hour plus. This song is just straight up pop punk bliss. It's like a great anthem that a lot of people may not even be super familiar with, but if you listen to this, you're like, okay, yeah, I see where a lot of bands that came after could have been influenced by this and some of your other work.
You'll be all right someday.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like I said, it was a song that I wrote when I was 19. And it was the first time I had written a song that I liked. I was really surprised by it, and like I was honestly a fan of it. You know, like I was like, wow, I think I actually wrote a good song. You know, because I had been trying for a couple years, but I tried I wouldn't really tell anybody. I'd do it in my room quietly. You know, I'd write in spiral notebooks and stuff like that, but I wouldn't dare play anything for anybody. And then I finally started to show people a little bit and started getting a little bit of encouragement. And then after a while, that was the first song that I was like, wow, okay, got it. And, and then I had showed the guys in Sludgeworth, and Dave had put the little beep thing in there. And then, we called it a song, but I had everything else. It became a fan favorite as well. It was a big song for Sludgeworth.